One of the biggest mistakes in male-female relationships and the process of preparing people for endless misery, haram relationships. What would you do if in a moment where you are very happy, having loads of fun, or feeling the most beautiful emotion in your life, you suddenly learn that the situation you're in would become your biggest regret and that the person in front of you would upset you more than you could ever imagine? If I were to ask what one of the most beautiful feelings in the world is, many would probably answer love. Today we will discuss both its beautiful and slightly dangerous aspects. You know about the relationships that we call dating. Everything is very normal at the beginning, hanging out together, maybe just a simple friendship or casual messages, and of course, there's the endless trust felt towards the other person at the time. Somehow after a while, the course of events begin to change. The person you saw as a friend starts looking at you differently, or the person you were happy with as a partner turns into something that darkens your life. You still have common interests or spend good time together, but arguments, misunderstandings, and general unrest have now taken over your entire life. Why do relationships that start so beautifully suddenly go wrong? They loved each other very much, they were trying to get to know each other. Where was the mistake made? Is it the woman we should blame or the man? Or is falling in love a crime or a sin? Yes, we currently have a problem that has taken over many relationships, and let me tell you, very few people see it as a problem, and many will find what I'm about to say strange or exaggerated, but I'm telling you up front that you can find an effective solution to many of the problems we encounter in male-female relationships in what I'll explain. Men and women are created as beings inclined towards each other. There's a different amount of attraction that a woman feels towards a man and a man towards a woman. There is a different amount of attraction that a woman feels towards a man and a man towards a woman. If this is not controlled, even the two best people in the world can end up having a terrible relationship. Allah, who knows humans best and the nature of both men and women, has maintained this balance in relationships with the rules in Islam. And the concepts of halal and haram are placed before you. Guys, halal and haram are not a randomly placed set of rules. They are laws that consider the psychological, biological and sociological benefits of humans, and when not followed, cause great harm both individually and socially. Any intimate bond, contact, messaging or so-called friendship between a man and a woman who are not halal to each other is haram in Islam. And the purpose of this rule is not to restrict people from beautiful feelings, to prevent falling in love by considering it a sin, or to make the genders hostile towards each other. It is to establish love, affection, respect and marriage on solid foundations, and to protect these important feelings from worthlessness and simplicity. Observe people around you who are in a relationship, and you will see the heavy burden they're carrying along with the happiness and the excitement they feel. Firstly, Allah is not pleased with what is being done, and there must be a sense of guilt from this. Secondly, death is an undeniable reality. And I'm sorry, but while you're preparing each other for an eternal punishment with your haram actions, it's not really possible to talk about love and affection. Today, if we call these widespread relationships in society as a way of satisfying desires, passions and lusts, it would be more accurate. Thirdly, no matter how innocent a haram relationship starts, it can end in such a way that we couldn't even imagine how ugly it can be. Because a person does not think and act alone. You have a nafs that constantly calls you to harmful things, a devil that shows bad things in a beautiful way, trying to lead you astray. Fourthly, you can understand that a haram relationship brings more hurt than happiness by looking at your surroundings or yourself. Everyone around you may have a boyfriend or girlfriend, but this doesn't mean that what you are doing is right, especially if you really want to establish a healthy, happy and peaceful family in the future. Don't do this harm to yourself. Do your best to stay within the boundaries set by Allah. Limitlessness, indifference and this extra comfort can one day be your biggest regret in life. You may be prejudiced because you've not experienced the true happiness and peace within the lines of Islam, but believe me, maintaining the necessary distance and respect between the two genders is a much higher quality stance against the ugliness of the age that we're in. I don't think a woman needs to establish a close friendship with a man. Similarly, a man and a woman talk as much as necessary when needed, and precaution should be taken if more is needed. I also don't think a person needs to live their privacy and relationship in public, but for some reason, this is the scenery that we encounter everywhere we go now. We need to put an end to this. When we look at scientific or psychological foundations, the stories of experienced people or the rules of Islam, we can easily reach these conclusions. A man and a woman cannot remain friends. A relationship built on haram foundations cannot end happily. Even if one is very happy in this world, there will definitely be consequences in the afterlife, and most importantly, Allah has drawn the best path for you. When you follow that path, you will see that you have achieved true peace in your youth, in your marriage, in the family you will have in the future, even within your home and children. You have two choices and two scenarios ahead of you, just like in the video you watched. Now either stubbornly proceed in the wrong path, risking all these harms, or change your path by ending your haram relationship. Since this is the truth and the halal circle is sufficient for pleasure, and since an hour of pleasure in the haram circle sometimes causes 1 year and 10 years of imprisonment, it is definitely necessary and essential to spend the blessing of youth in chastity and righteousness as a gratitude for that sweet blessing.